we investors need to be aware of some psychological pitfalls that might be laying out as a trap for us. Hello and welcome. My name is Peter B. and I welcome you here at My First Million, where we are achieving our financial goals together. Yes, there are many psychological pitfalls hiding everywhere for long-term investors. And as a long-term investor, we need to probably study them and at least be aware of them so that we can evaluate whether or not our mind is playing some games with us that lead to irrational decisions. And one of those pitfalls is the topic of today's video. We are covering fear of missing out, or in short, FOMO. So FOMO is one of those psychological traps that can occur every time when a bubble is starting to form. Usually FOMO will come up every time when there are some new buzzwords thrown around. And after those buzzwords are getting thrown around, you will start to see stock prices of specific companies climbing significantly, rising significantly. And at that point, usually FOMO will kick in. If not invested, an investor might occur the fear that he's missing out of the next great investment opportunity. And of course, we all invest our money because we want to have a positive rate of return and doing better with our money. So knowing that some buzzwords, and then based on the buzzwords, there are some increasing stock prices occurring. What is a potential area which causes fear of missing out? Can you think of any area? I would say in 2023, this year, it's probably everything related to artificial intelligence. Every company somehow related to generative AI, working with AI, profiting from AI, is recently experiencing some boost. And these buzzwords and trends are usually a foundation of a building bubble. And once more and more investors are afraid that they are missing out on something, they're pushing the prices up and heating up the bubble, the occurring bubble. I'm not saying that currently everything artificial intelligence related is in a bubble territory, and there are real opportunities out there. As someone responsible for IT and information system in a company, I have real insights that there are real use cases out there for generative AI to boost efficiency, to increase productivity, and potentially cut cost. So that it's not everything just a made-up story, but still some areas are potentially already overhyped or maybe will be overhyped in the future. And the markets usually jump from one big story to the next big story. So before the AI bubble, what were previous stories that we heard recently? One was the SPAC bubble. A lot of people were investing in SPACs not too long ago. Before that, it was cryptocurrency. During the last cycle peak of Bitcoin, a lot of altcoins got a huge boost and people invested into them. Then also, before that, or maybe around the same time, there were the meme stock like GameStop or AMC, which also experienced quite some boost. Then before that, it was a lot of small high growth stocks which went to insane valuation. And I think ARK Invest was one of the poster childs of boosting those investment stories. But again, these are all stories and investors like to jump from one story to another. Before that, I experienced the hydrogen fuel cells bubble, already happened before. 3D printing was another one that I also experienced. Then in the mid 2000 years, it was the real estate. Everyone wanted to profit from the real estate market, which then ultimately led to the financial crisis in 2008. And before that, of course, the previous bigger one was the dot-com bubble, where everything related to the internet got a huge boost. And the dot-com bubble is probably a very good example now to the AI hype that is currently happening. Out of the dot-com bubble, the biggest companies in the world were formed, like Amazon, like Google. So some of the biggest companies were arising at that time. But many others failed. Many others were not performing well. And at that time were overvalued significantly. So when you hear about AI companies or companies that profit from AI, take one step back and think about, is the story real? Is the potential there and the business case there? Or is it overhyped already? And take another step even further back and consider valuations. In the end, valuations matter. As the famous saying is going, in the short run, the stock market is a voting machine. But in the long run, the stock market is a weighing machine. So this is meaning maybe in the short run, the stocks can even go to much higher valuation. But in the long run, if a stock is overvalued, it will probably come back to a reasonable price again. And of course, there are many people trying to take advantage of those cycles, of those bubbles. But those people are not long-term investors. Those people are speculating on the short run. So as long-term investor, we just need to be aware of FOMO, fear of missing out. And we need to be aware how this might affect our decision-making process for our investments. What are your experiences with FOMO? Please share with us in the comments below. Thanks a lot for joining me today. I look forward to seeing you in the next video, and especially I look forward to seeing you winning financially.